What's going on, everybody? Man, I hope that music sounded better on the video than it did in my headphones there, but might have to work on that moving forward. What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Lozak at MikeyLo Bets, MikeyLoBets.com, coming to you with today's edition of the Mikey Low Show. Those of you guys that have been with me before have known I've dabbled a little bit with the video content in the past with college football. You guys know college football is kind of my bread and butter. With the season rolling around soon, I'm trying to get more comfortable and trying to get more video content out there as the season goes on. So, giving this a shot, we're going to give out a free play that I've posted on my Patreon, one of the season win totals for college football that I've already um, posted. But before we get into that, some housekeeping items. You guys can follow me on Twitter at MikeyLoBets. Check out my website, MikeyLoBets.com. That's where I track all of my plays. When I post write-ups for free, I post them over there. And those of you that want to get the plays first can check me out at patreon.com/MikeyLoBets. So, yeah, hoping to do more of this as the season goes on. I'm not super comfortable yet behind the camera, but and not super comfortable yet with the technology aspect, but trying to get more and more comfortable with it. So, hoping to do maybe some live streams on Saturday mornings before game day when line movement is happening, when FCS lines are dropping. You guys know I like to follow the FCS pretty closely as well, and I'm hoping. Tricky part is those lines usually don't pop up until Saturday morning, so I'm hoping to add more FCS plays this year and maybe talk about the promos and the boosts that are available on Saturday morning as well. And then maybe on the Patreon on Sundays when the lines drop, we can do some live streams as well. Because those of you guys that were with me last year know I hit the lines early on Sunday and they move quickly. And in some cases on books like FanDuel, if we're all hitting them at once, FanDuel's pulling those lines or moving those lines really quickly. So maybe adding a live stream component when it's available to me would be a nice thing to do as the season goes on. But that's enough about that. Let's get into the video here. Let's get into the play. What we're going to do here is give out one of my season win totals that I've already posted to my Patreon subscribers. So the play that we're gonna before we get into that, I should say over on Patreon, I've already got 5 season win totals posted and 2 futures posted. Really like all of them. There's write-ups included on Patreon. Probably gonna move on another season win total pretty quickly, just doing some last minute housekeeping items on that one. And starting to look at the week 0 and week 1 line. So season's gonna be here before we know it. Well, maybe before some of you know it. I have nothing to do over the summer, but watch college football videos, read college football articles, listen to the podcast. I mean, I'm ready to go. I don't know how I'm going to survive 2 more months, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But we're almost there. So the play that I'm going to give you guys today is actually Colorado State over 4.5 wins. I posted that one on, I think, the 13th, May 13th. I got it at minus 115 on DraftKings. So it looks like it's now minus 120 on DK and minus 140 on FanDuel. You guys know I've got a history of getting strong kind of closing line value. It doesn't seem like these futures are moving quite as much or these season win totals are moving quite as much. But once we get into the season, those move quite a bit. So, yeah, let's talk about Colorado State. They're in the Mountain West Conference, which is kind of a weaker conference this year. When I get into the schedule, you'll see it a little more. But one of my strategies this year is really targeting teams with lower win totals in weaker conferences. And I think the Mountain West qualifies as one of those. You got Boise State, who hasn't been as dominant the last couple of years. You got Fresno, who lost Hainer. And beyond that, it's a lot of similar teams, kind of equal teams. It's going to be the second year of Jay Norvell. You guys remember he was a head coach at Nevada when they really got the offense going with Carson Strong and Romeo Dubes. He left for Colorado State last year. He took a ton of his guys with him, a lot of his young guys with him. The first year didn't go very well, but Norvell's a guy that knows offense, and they got the continuity now. They got the head coach coming back, they got the OC coming back, they got the DC coming back, and they got the quarterback coming back, who we're going to talk about a lot here in detail. He's a guy that I really like. I think he might be maybe the best college quarterback that you guys haven't heard So we'll get into him a little bit in the future here. But like I said, they've got 70.4% of their returning production coming back this year. I think that's about 30th in the nation, 28th in the nation. Checking my notes here, and second in the Mountain West as of when I checked a few weeks ago when I made the initial write up. Because Norvell took a bunch of transfers with him when he came over from Nevada, so they do have that continuity now. They have those guys coming back. The offense really struggled last year. I do not think the offense is going to continue to struggle with a coach like Jay Norvell who knows offense and with a quarterback like Clay Millen. So let's get into Clay Millen a little bit here. Let's share my screen here. The first thing I'm going to do is pull up a little bit about him. He started as a freshman last year, pretty much the whole season. Got the crap kicked out of him. The O-line could not protect him. We'll show you those stats on PFS in a minute. But threw, I think, 234 attempts last year as a freshman. So he got that experience, which is really valuable. StatsBomb, let's pull this up. StatsBomb tweeted this out about a week ago, and it is completion percentage over expected. The x-axis is when the quarterback is inside the pocket, and the y-axis is when the quarterback is outside of the pocket. And they put this together because the article that they wrote was about Caleb Williams or Drake May, I think, in terms of who's going to go number one in the draft. But what stood out to me and some other people that I saw on Twitter is all the way up here in the upper right-hand corner where you want to be is that Colorado State logo. So Clay Millen, despite being under pressure quite a bit, which we're going to see in a second, kind of right near the top, both inside and outside of the pocket in terms of completion percentage over expected. So let's look at the PFF stats as well here. So what I did here, these are going to be the Mountain West grades on PFF Pro Football Focus with a minimum of 20% dropbacks of 608 of the total dropbacks of the season. So you can see grading out amongst the Mountain West quarterbacks, second in terms, well, let's sort here, by their pass rating. Clay Millen coming in at number 2 here. The only person he's behind is Jake Haener, who is, Conference Player of the Year type player, NFL draft prospect type player. Clay Millen as a true freshman coming in right at number 2 in the conference. If you look at his big time throw percentage, again, there he is, number 1, 7.3% big time throw percentage, number 1 in the conference, ahead of Cordero, who you're going to hear a lot about from San Jose State, ahead of Jake Haener by quite a bit. Of course, Haener was banged up this year, ahead of everybody in the conference. If you look at his turnover worthy plays, he's down, right? He's number 10, only 3.1% turnover worthy play, which is where we like to see. What's interesting is drops weren't too bad, which is nice. If you look at the drop percentage, he's near the bottom, 12th, 5.1% drop. They got a great receiver coming back, guys. Torrey Horton, all Mountain West type guy, big play guy. You remember that name. Like we had Strong to Romeo. Is it Dubes or Dow? I think it's Romeo Dubes is how you pronounce it, right? Well, at Nevada, Norvell had that connection. I think we're going to see something similar here at Colorado State with Millen and Horton. It's going to be really exciting. But look at the pressure here. If you look at the defensive pressures, Clay Millen right there near the top, number 2. He was pressured 152 times, and he was sacked something outrageous, 54% of the time. Head and shoulders, number 1 in the conference. Number 2 was Cordero, 13 fewer at 41. And then number 3 was Miles Kendrick, all the way down to 26 sacks. So Clay Millen, as a freshman, just got abused. And despite all of that, he still had the really impressive stats that you saw in StatsBomb there. You saw his grades on PFF. So the guy can build off that with a good coach, with that freshman year under his belt. I'm kind of really excited to see what he can do in that Mountain West Conference this year. I think it should be pretty exciting. And they did add 2 offensive linemen in the portal. They're FCS guys, but they should be nice additions. They do have a decent amount of snap returning production at the offensive line. They got nowhere to go but up. So I think this is a team that will figure out a way to protect him a little bit better this year in that Mountain West Conference. And I think you're going to see Millen take that next jump. I think he kind of flew under the radar because they were so bad last year in terms of stats like points, and yardage, things like that, if you're into those old-fashioned stats. But the guy can throw it. Norvell can coach. I think they're going to protect him better this year, and I think you're going to see him make a big jump, and I think you're going to see that Colorado State offense make a big jump this year. And it's a manageable schedule. Let's pull that up. I'm going to pull up. These are Tyler Shoemaker's numbers. He posted these for free on Twitter. I definitely recommend checking that out. It's a great resource. But this is the Colorado State schedule here. And kind of as you can see, not overwhelming at all. That's kind of been an approach I like to take this year is lower win totals, like win totals below bowl eligibility in manageable conferences, right? And the Mountain West is a manageable conference, just like Conference USA is a manageable conference. The MAC is a manageable conference, kind of weaker G5 conferences. So you look at the schedule here, I see 3 that they should win. Home against FCS, Utah Tech absolutely should be a win. Then at the end of the year, home against Nevada, that is a rivalry game because of the way that Norvell left, but even as bad as Colorado State was last year, they were able to get that one. And at Hawaii, I'm not buying what Hawaii is selling this year. So I think those 3 are should wins, and then there's like 5 toss-up games on this schedule right here. Washington State, I wouldn't call that a toss-up, but they could get that one. That kind of reminds me of 2 years ago when I was on Utah State over 3, and they ended up winning the Mountain West Conference. They opened up at Washington State and beat them outright. I need to learn more about Washington State. I haven't really done my Pac-12 deep dive yet. But I mean, I'm not throwing that one away as an absolute loss. Colorado, they could get. I don't think they necessarily will, but they could. So those first 2 games against Power 5 opponents, they could get one of those. I'll call Colorado State a toss-up game, and then Middle Tennessee State's a toss-up. Utah State is a toss-up. I'm kind of down on the Aggies this year. You guys know I loved them 2 years ago. I love Blake Anderson. The dude can coach offense, but they've had some kind of culture stuff going on. The last couple of years, they lost a ton of players to the portal, particularly on defense, and they haven't replaced them. So if I had to pick that game right now, I would take Colorado State in that game. Boise's probably the toughest conference game on the schedule, but then UNLV, toss-up game. It's on the road. They could get. Air Force lost to Zeke Daniels, the quarterback. I won't call that one a toss-up game, but they could get that one. At Wyoming, rivalry game, toss-up game. And then, like we said, we got Nevada and we got Hawaii. So call it Colorado, Middle Tennessee State, Utah State, UNLV, Wyoming. 5 toss-up games to go along with the 3 games they should win. So get the 3 you should. You just got to go 2 and 3 in the toss-up games to get the over 4.5. I feel really good about their chances to clear that number. I feel really good about this team. If you're one of those people that likes to throw, some free bets that you might get at FanDuel on some long shots, I threw a few bucks on them to win the Mountain West. I think I got them at like 35 to 1 or something like that. If everything breaks right, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. This isn't a conference that has like 2 dominant teams. There's no Michigan and Ohio State in this conference. There's no Georgia and Alabama. There's no even, Mountain or G5 style. There's no Tulane in this conference. This isn't the American. This isn't the Sun Belt. Boise will probably be good, but they haven't been, as dominant the last couple of years. So I like Colorado State a lot this year. So that's the free play that I'm going to give out to you guys. If you haven't had a chance yet, feel free to check out the tweet that I have pinned at the top of my Twitter profile right now. There's kind of a free post about what to expect from me this football season on my Patreon account. Really goes into detail, but for just $12 a month this football season, you'll get all my plays. I have a really strong track record of getting really good closing line value on the plays that I put together. Here's the article here. So I go into a lot of detail about what to expect from me, what sports books that I use. This is free for everyone. Kind of my betting process. In addition to all my college football plays and the closing line value that you're almost certainly going to get, you also get my NFL pass attempt model that I built. You get all of the projections and all of the leans from that model. I go really specific with the NFL just because it's such a hard league to beat. Those lines are razor sharp. So I just stick to one prop that I like and hammer those. So for me, it's NFL quarterback pass attempts, over or under their pass attempts. So I built a model. Last year, that model, the leans that it spit out went 49 and 22, which is 69% against the number, which is really, really good. Fortunately, I didn't catch on to how good it was doing until later in the year. So I didn't reap the benefits myself of all of those plays, but this year I plan to be a lot more trusting of that. So feel free to check that out. But if you guys like the video, let me know. I'm hoping to do more videos like these. And let's get Colorado State over that win total. So once again, I appreciate you guys checking this out. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye.